Listen up, my fellow coaches and leaders. The truth is, we all need a space to learn and grow so we can bust through our personal glass ceilings and step into our full potential, especially if we want to create the space to allow others to step into theirs. And that's where I come in. I'm not just a former clinical psychologist, but also a seasoned dream life and business coach with over 2 decades of experience helping people shatter their personal barriers and unleash their greatness. And here's the thing, you don't have to figure this all out on your own. As a heart-centered entrepreneur or industry leader, you deserve the best tools and strategies to help you and your business thrive. And that's why I'm excited to share my experience with you through the Coaching for Coaches podcast. Utilizing powerful combination of clinical skills, quantum physics, and strength-based coaching methods, I'll show you exactly what to do and exactly what to say to unleash your true potential and create a path for your clients to follow. And not just that, I'll also teach you how to build a thriving coaching business around your unique skill set and passions. So let's get started. It's time to answer your calling, make a lasting impact on the world, and create a lucrative living doing exactly what you love. Welcome to the Coaching for Coaches podcast, where greatness begins. Hey, you guys. My name is Denise Walsh, and big welcome to my new podcast, Coaching for Coaches. Woohoo! The crowd goes wild. Today is episode 1 of my new podcast entitled Coaching for Coaches. And so my goal today is to share with you a little bit about my story, why this podcast was created, and exactly how it will help you. Now, if you've been hanging around with me for a bit, you know that I hosted a podcast called Dreamcast for about 5 years. And Dreamcast was all about, like, for me, I'm so interested in that pivot point, right? Like, we all have life, we all have struggles, we all have, stuff that could keep us down if we let it. But Dreamcast was all about that pivot point, that time when we said, all right, not going to let that control me anymore. And I'm going to take my power back by focusing on what I can control and breaking through to the next level and all that good stuff. So if you haven't listened to the Dreamcast, then be sure to check out the episodes. They're all on this playlist. But as you may or may not know, I have been coaching for almost 20 years, and my niche has shifted. And so I thought, instead of just kind of quietly shifting my niche and utilizing the Dreamcast, why don't I actually stop the Dreamcast, pivot, and rebrand it with the new niche in mind? So let me tell you a bit about my story, and then we'll tell you about how we got here. I have been working with people for over 20 years. I have a master's in clinical psychology and started working in community mental health back in 2005. And I don't know if you are in the helping professions, maybe that's why you're listening to this as well. You're a counselor, teacher, nurse, daycare worker, like you have a heart for people, you like a social worker. I don't know, maybe you're a counselor too, a psychologist, and like I was. And so I got into that field because I love people and I believe in them and I see them 3 steps ahead of where they see themselves. And I felt like it was my duty, right? My soul's purpose to speak life into them and help them to become all that they were created to be. But like many in the helping profession, I quickly became burnt out, overworked, underpaid at 25 years old, going through what I call a quarter life crisis. Like, is this where I'm supposed to be for the rest of my life? What? I knew what it felt like to have a spark. I knew what it felt like to love what I was doing. And so when the soul got sucked out of me, I had choices to make. Do I stay where I am because I understand the paperwork, or do I go search again for my spark? And so, needless to say, I started searching for my spark because I thought, you know what, there's no way I'm going to live like this for the next 30 years. Zombie throughout the week, living for the weekend, same 2-week vacation each year. Like, day in, day out, same old, same old. And I didn't want that. I wanted to love what I was doing. So I started seeking and finding other options for me, right? And I would always get scared and think, is it really better at that other job? Is it really better? At least here, I know what to expect. And so I know what it's like to be in this wishy-washy spot where you go, this isn't it, but I don't really know what is. So what do we do? In fact, a lot of clients I work with will say, I don't know what I want. I just know I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah. Well, that was me for about 5 years. And then slowly but surely, I ended up starting a side hustle. This time it was in network marketing back in 2007, and worked that side hustle for several years before I was able to quit my full-time job in 2010. And we've been full-time ever since. Now, throughout our time as coaches and internet marketers and building online brands, my niche has pivoted. For years, I was marketing or connecting and coaching with those in my network marketing business. And so I had two products to focus on: distributorship and the health and wellness products that we were promoting, right? Those were the two products that I focused on for a good long time. And then I started thinking things like, you know what? Not everybody wants to join my team, but like everybody needs to know this personal development content and this breakthrough content that I was learning and using within my team, the things that I was using myself to break through my own glass ceilings, to get to the top of the company and stay there for over 10 years. Like, these were the things that I was doing to experience success. And I was teaching that to my team, but I thought everybody needs to know this. And so I started writing books and journals and creating programs like my 12-week signature program, 90-day U-turn. And so when I started creating my own stuff, my niche pivoted again. And at that time, that's when I started the Dreamcast, and I was really focused on helping people to overcome self-sabotage, helping them to overcome their own glass ceiling. And some of it was healing through trauma and healing through hurt. Some of it was gaining clarity and vision on what it is they want next, or maybe time management or relationship health, like having good communication and, having personal integrity, deciding what I want and going for it. And so there's a lot of content that's geared towards that: personal development, overcoming self-sabotage, retraining your subconscious brain on the Dreamcast. And we're going to keep talking about that here too. That's when I developed what I call the Dream Life Pathway: head, heart, feet. Do you know what you want? Do you believe that it's possible? And do you know how to go get it? And so each of those areas has like a ton of different exercises that we can do to help you retrain your brain, retrain your nervous system, reprogram your subconscious, so you expect and experience success easily. And that was super fun. I mean, over the past few years, 90-day U-turn has changed the name of the game of my business, to be honest. I've made more with one program than I used to make in 1 year. And so it's fascinating to figure this out. Like, how do I create a program, get it out to people, have them experience crazy, massive, life-changing results? And then I started getting asked, how do I do what you do? And I thought, well, that's interesting. I don't know. How do I take 20 years of clinical psychology experience, working within my network marketing team, leadership development, creating duplication, calling out the best in others? Like, how do I teach that? And so I started on a journey and created the Dream Life Certification in Business program, where I do exactly that. And that is where the Coaching for Coaches podcast and the Coaching for Coaches free Facebook community came into play. Because now that I have this program where I get to take 20 years of experience of learning, I've worked with John Maxwell and Jack Canfield and, all these things, and put it into one place to give you a path to follow. I wanted to shift my content again to focus on the leader. Because the reality is, you guys, right? Leaders need to be led. Coaches need to be coached. You're not an island. You don't have to figure this out on your own. My goal is to add value to the coaches and to the leaders who are then adding value to their clients. My role here is to help you be the best coach. And I am so excited about it. And so you're going to hear this podcast. We come out every single week. You're going to notice that it's the same. So what I'm doing is I've got the free Facebook group, Coaching for Coaches. If you're not in that yet, be sure to join. I'll put the link in the show notes. And every single Monday night at 7 p.m., we go live in that group. And then that live will end up here on the podcast. Now, the podcast is going to get bonus episodes, interviews that I'm not going to utilize within the group. You guys will have access to all of that. I've got some really fun stuff coming. But you'll also notice that this is a great place to listen to those lives if you've maybe missed a few, or if you've, come in a few months, in a few months and you want to binge listen to the ones that we've already done. This podcast is going to be a great place for you. So what is this podcast about? What is the free Facebook group about? What is the Dream Life Experience live at 7 p.m. on Mondays all about? Let me tell you. There are 3 things I believe you need in order to be an excellent coach. And so my goal here is to support you in all of these areas. The first one is you need to blow through your own personal glass ceiling, right? You need to do your own healing. You've got to become your best version. You've got to become somebody you are proud of, which means that you get to do the content yourself as a client. You want to utilize this content yourself because you don't ever really want to give somebody an exercise you've never done, right? So you want to do this content yourself, and that's going to help you gain confidence. It's going to help you shift through your limiting beliefs. It's going to help you become your best self. And then number 2, you want a pathway for your clients to follow. So if you are already a coach or a leader and you are looking to create a program yourself, or you're already working with individual clients, you want a pathway for them to follow so they get results. You want to take them somewhere, right? You want to help guide their journey. And so within this group and within this podcast and within my programs, I teach what I call the Dream Life Pathway. Head, heart, feet. Do you know what you want? Do you believe that's possible? Do you know how to go get it? And then I give you different exercises and tools that you can utilize. Now, obviously, we're going to do one per live, one per podcast. In my programs, I got a whole clinical library that you'll be able to utilize once you're inside. But this is a great introduction to the Dream Life Pathway, which then you can, number 1, use yourself, and then number 2, use with your clients immediately. You are going to be able to raise your prices as you build your confidence by doing these powerful exercises and then having them in your toolbox as you then work with clients. And then the third thing that you need in order to be an excellent coach is business support. Now, I know what it's like to be a good coach, right? Like, we know what it's like to know our stuff. We know what it's like to be able to lead people and to help them with their own breakthrough. But the thing that's not often taught in certification programs, or of course, in my psychology degree or anything like that, is the business side. How do you generate leads? How do you create systems in your business so you're consistently having people join? Like, how does this work? So you can get your message that's super dang important out into the world for people to come find you, to say yes to your offer, and all of that kind of stuff. So at Dream Life Coaching, we've got both. I give you content for what to do and what to say with your clients. It's amazing. Seriously, amazing. I have all these testimonies in my head right now. Like, it's so stinking good. And then you can use that for yourself and then your clients, but then we also have business support, a marketing strategy. We have ideas for how to create content and freebies and funnels and all these things that you can utilize in order to get your message out into the world. And so every single Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, in the Coaching for Coaches free Facebook group, I am going to go live and I'm going to touch on one of these things. A few times a month, we're going to do hot seat coaching. We're going to get to see me coach live. Another time a month, we're going to do topic, anxiety, depression, relationships, communication, anger, that kind of stuff. Or maybe even like, how do you work with difficult clients, or how do you reel a client in if they're kind of going on a tangent? Like, How do you know what homework assignment to give them? How do you catch the patterns? So things like that. And then another time each month, we're going to talk specifically about business strategy and content. So just know that every week we're going to, for free, create the space for you to learn something that you can utilize immediately in your coaching business. I'm going to have a ton of freebies within the program, within the Coaching for Coaches. So stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of really cool resources and tools that you're going to be able to grab from me and, again, utilize and implement immediately. And then I'm also going to invite you into my program. I truly do believe that the Dream Life Certification and Business Program is the best of both worlds. Certified coaches know what to do and what to say with their clients, and they have a strategy for getting them. And it's amazing. I could go on and on, but I will leave it at that. Here's what I know. If you've had the spark to become a life coach, if you feel like your mission is to support others on their journey, maybe you've healed quite a bit. Maybe you've gone through your own stuff, right? And you want to support people who are 3 steps behind you. This podcast and this free Facebook group is for you. My job is to help you become the best coach ever. And I cannot wait to be on this journey with you. So here's what I need from you. I need to know what you want. I need to know what you want to talk about, what topics you'd like me to cover, what interviews you'd like me to do. I'll be working with or interviewing those who are certified and those who are getting certified, and we're going to practice together live on here. So if you've got anything that you are specifically interested in, I'd love for you to go show up in the Coaching for Coaches free Facebook group and let us know, because I want to answer your questions. That's my role here. Okay, I think that is all. Okay, so here's the deal. If you have been wanting to become a life coach and that spark has been sparked, what I know is that will continue to feel restless for you. Like it will continue to feel like it will continue to nudge you, my friend, until you take full action on it. And just by you being in this group, just by you listening to this podcast, saving it, subscribing it, all the good things, you are already shifting your nervous system, and the answer to your questions will show up. I can't wait to work with you. Let me know how I can best support you, and I will see you, my friend, next week.